What's up everybody, how's it going? Hope you're having a wonderful day. In today's video, I'm going to share 7 things that you need to know if you are a freelance artist or illustrator. So without wasting any more time, let's get right into it. So the first thing that you need to know is portfolio. If you are a freelance artist, your portfolio is one of the most important things. And if you have a great portfolio, you can significantly increase your chances of being hired by potential buyers or employers. So a few tips for your portfolio. First of all, make sure that your portfolio is comprised of only your best work. Please feel free not to include any old works that you have done some years ago. Just include your best works and your latest works. And make sure you update it regularly. The second most important thing is to tailor your portfolio to specific genres or specific companies that you want to get hired from. So let's say you want to work as a concept artist at Naughty Dog on one of their projects, probably The Last of Us. So if you want to be able to increase your chances of getting hired from there, it's probably best to include pieces in your portfolio that align with what they're already producing. So maybe post-apocalyptic scenes, or maybe zombies or creatures. So if you align your work to what your potential buyer might be looking for, you can significantly increase your chances of being hired. Alright, so the next thing that you need to keep in mind is that self-promoting is not a bad thing. So you should not fear uploading your portfolio online. I've met several artists and they basically say that they need to wait until their artwork is really good to be on social media. That's not a very good strategy. Think about it this way. So basically you are not really uploading your work on social media to get praised for it. You're just sharing your journey as you get better at what you do. So it's more like journaling. If you fear uploading your artwork out there on social media, here's a quick little strategy for you. While uploading your artwork, maybe don't write a caption like "you produced a masterpiece," but instead try writing a caption that maybe talks about the challenges that you faced during the process of making that artwork. Maybe you can talk about what you have learned while making this artwork. And that's really good because there are so many artists that would be on the same level as you are, and they would really relate to your artwork, and maybe they can benefit from your experience and your learning as well. So that's a great way to share your work on social media, especially if you are really shy about it. Also, it's really important to get freelance work, of course. So there are 2 ways to get freelance work. The first one is the traditional way. You can go to different freelancing websites and then you can write proposals and apply for different jobs, and maybe you can get a contract out of it. The good thing about it is that you know exactly what you're applying for, you know exactly the nature of the work, and in some cases maybe you have some information about the client or who you are talking to. But the downside of this is that there is very tough competition. So if you're applying for a job on one of those freelancing websites, there are probably hundreds of other artists applying on there as well. So the competition is really hard and it's very difficult to understand what exactly your client is looking for. The second way is a much better way because this way the clients already know a little bit about you and the kind of work that you do. It's a more passive way, but it's really helpful in the long run. And that way is very simple. It's just to share your artwork online on different platforms, on as many platforms as you can. This will give you more visibility and more exposure, and eventually the potential clients will reach out to you and ask for your services. So the point is very simple. Make yourself discoverable. And how you can make yourself discoverable? Just put your content and your artwork out there on the internet, on all of the social media, so that potential buyers can reach out to you. So when they reach out to you, they are already pretty much sold on your quality of artwork and they would really like to work with you. So then the negotiation becomes very easy, and if you can quote them a price that they can work with, the job is pretty much yours. The next thing is pretty much connected to this. It's called networking, and what I mean by that is you should probably join different online forums, different Discord servers, and share your work, talk to different artists, and engage on social media as well. When you make connections with other artists of the industry, especially senior artists, they might recommend you to some company at some stage. You never know. Creating real build connections with other artists in the industry is super important. The next is time management. So in freelancing, you are your own boss, right? But if you are not self-disciplined enough, it would be a nightmare to manage everything. Try to set fixed working hours. This is really important because this way you can separate your work from your life and you can achieve a better work-life balance this way. You know exactly when you need to work and when you need to, let's say, hang out with your friends or spend time with your family. So create a proper schedule. It will also help you manage the deadlines effectively. So let's say you got a contract and you have 1 week to finish the artwork. Now maybe you're procrastinating and you're wasting your time and not working the first 3 days of the week. Now since you have not decided on specific working hours, you end up with getting a lot of workload at the end of the week, and that is usually a nightmare because you're working overtime and you're working late, and it really impacts on your overall well-being. Instead, if you would have worked on that artwork from the very beginning on specific hours, that would have been much more manageable. Before we move on, I'd like to ask if you have joined my newsletter yet. I have a free newsletter. I share tips and techniques on how to become a full-time artist, along with some freebies every once in a while. It's completely free and value-packed, so if you haven't subscribed to it yet, please go to the link down in the description and join it. Alright, so the next thing is to get organized. If you're doing freelance, you need to know exactly what projects are you working on, what are their deadlines. If there are any deadlines that are clashing with each other, you need to divide your time between all of the projects. Getting organized is super important, and you can use different tools to achieve that goal. You can maybe look into different apps that can help you. For example, I use Notion a lot. By the way, this is not sponsored, but I really like Notion. It helps me organize my YouTube scripts and even some of my freelance work. And it's a great note-taking app, but it's much more than that. It's a full-fledged project management tool. So you should really look into that. Let me know if you want a full video on how to use Notion as a freelance artist. So another really important thing is to know your worth. You should not undersell, but you should not oversell. So you need to find a nice balance between these two. So I would recommend researching about the industry standards and try to come up with a pricing that is not only attractive to your client, but is also sustainable for you, because that's really important. You got to pay the bills as well. Make sure you are paid fairly and you're not underselling. So I have seen other freelance artists break their pricing into very simple and easy to understand PDFs or maybe web pages. It's also a nice strategy if you are doing commissions. So if you're working on maybe portraits or card illustrations or stuff like that, you can set fixed pricing for different services that you provide. And whenever a potential buyer visits your website or your social media, they can easily scan through your pricing and then decide whether they want to buy or not. But doing this sets their expectation on what exactly the price is and what they're getting for that price. And the next thing is communication. So once the potential buyers reach out to you, you need to be very communicative and you need to make everything easy for them. So don't overcomplicate stuff for them, because sometimes the clients either do not want to be involved in little technical details, or sometimes they are non-artists, so they don't really understand all that terminology that you're throwing at them. So maybe try to keep everything simple for them. Try to keep the process very seamless and make the process very smooth and easy for them. And please be more communicative. Please stop sending messages like, yo, what's the budget? Try to be a bit more professional. Make them understand what exactly they're paying for. And once you have the project, make sure you are very communicative with the client. You are sending regular updates to them, getting their feedback when necessary, and keep them in the loop. Because no client wants to spend money and then watch you just disappear. That could potentially make them really anxious. Keep them in the loop, update them regularly, and share your process. This way you can build a better trust between you and the client, and you have more chances to get repeat business from them. This is Imad from the future. I just realized that I completely forgot to record the outro for this video, so here it is. If you are an aspiring freelance illustrator and found this video helpful, please comment down below and let me know. I would love to hear your thoughts. And if you're new to this channel and would like to learn more about how to become a freelance digital illustrator, then then please consider subscribing. Alright, I'll see you in the next one. Take care.